So, now that the long-awaited Avatar sequel, The Way of Water, has arrived in theatres after a decade-long production, it's about time that we assess the success of this franchise and evaluate what effect that it might have on the future of the immersive land of Pandora, the world of Avatar, at Walt Disney World. So, let's dive into all of that up next. Hi there Waltoneers, I'm Jack and this is DSNY Newscast, and before we get started, if you want to receive a notification every time I upload a new video, then be sure to subscribe down below and hit that notification bell. And with that out of the way, let's get straight into it. As when Pandora, the world of Avatar opened in 2017, it was undeniably an instant, critical and commercial success for Disney's Animal Kingdom, as the Imagineering team led by Joe Rohde had truly brought the immersive alien planet to life within the 12-acre land, complete with an awe-inspiring otherworldly vista in the daytime that then transformed into a breathtaking bioluminescent environment at night. However, in September of 2011, when Disney originally signed the contract with James Cameron and Lightstorm Entertainment to bring the world of Avatar to the Disney parks, it was understood that the land, which later began construction in 2014, would open following the delayed release of the Avatar sequel in December of 2016. But obviously, as we all know, that didn't happen. And yet despite that, the opening of this land that was based on one movie from 2009 generated a huge attendance spike of an additional 1.6 million people in 2017 and 1.2 million extra in attendance in 2018. And this was a truly astonishing feat that could only be explained by Imagineering's dedication to detail to make it a brilliantly themed land that could survive and thrive for 5 years independent of when the next installment in this movie franchise would arrive. But now that Avatar 2 has at long last been released, you'd expect that this is going to have a massive impact on the future of the land. As to begin with, Avatar: The Way of Water has scored extremely well with critics and audiences alike, being certified fresh on Rotten Tomatoes with a 77% critic score, whilst scoring notably higher with 92% amongst audiences. However, when it comes to whether Disney will continue to invest in a movie franchise in the parks, the power of the almighty dollar matters the most. And so let's evaluate Avatar 2's box office performance compared to the 2009 Avatar movie. As so far, Avatar: The Way of Water has made $1.75 billion at the worldwide box office in around 4 weeks of release at the time of this recording. Whereas the first Avatar movie grossed a total of $2.74 billion in its original 34-week release in 2009, which if you then convert that to account for inflation, that box office gross is actually $3.8 billion in 2023 money. And so yes, this Avatar sequel does have an almost insurmountable floating mountain to climb. But just because it might not reach the dizzying heights of $3.8 billion, that doesn't mean it will be a commercial failure for Disney. As if Avatar 2 does surpass the $2 billion mark, which it likely will on its current trajectory, then that should be enough of a financial barometer to signal to Disney that this franchise is worthy of further investment. But it's what form that further investment comes in that's the most interesting part. As director of Avatar, James Cameron stated in an interview with Variety in December that he has already suggested to Disney CEO Bob Iger that he would like to integrate Avatar 2 and 3 motifs within the hugely popular Flight of Passage at Walt Disney World, as Cameron would like to create synergy between the new environments explored in his upcoming sequels and the physical embodiment of Pandora in the real world that people can then go and experience for themselves. And realistically, this should be very feasible to integrate with relative ease, as Flight of Passage has been designed in such a way that the motion-based simulator technology could be reprogrammed and new visual elements could be included, which would then offer a brand new experience, much in the same way that Disney updated Star Tours in 2011 with Star Tours The Adventure Continues. and have since added new sequences for a synergistic tie-in to the new Star Wars trilogy of The Force Awakens, The Last Jedi, and The Rise of Skywalker. But the other reason why Cameron might be so keen on this idea might be to do with the advancements made in CGI motion capture technology since the attraction's opening in 2017, as the ride features the same ocean landscape that the Way of Water is also set within. And so despite this scene being delivered at 10K resolution and 60 frames per second in the ride, a major motivating factor for updating the attraction more regularly might also be the advancements made in projection technology that can then showcase the enhanced CGI end product from the final movie. And despite there being a clear willingness on Lightstorm Entertainment's part, all of this will end up coming down to budgets, as personally I feel that the most realistic chance of this update happening within the ride will be if it is negotiated as part of the ongoing marketing for the other 3 movies within the franchise. However, that's not all in terms of potential new additions coming to Pandora the World of Avatar in the future. As you see, there's something that I want to talk about again. As you see, 3 years ago, in January of 2020, I did a video on a rumour of a very early concept being considered for Pandora. That was the concept of a walkthrough experience being added to the land. That would have been a sort of faux veterinary environment, a little bit like an animal sanctuary, but showcasing the exotic flora and fauna of Pandora with alien creatures in their natural habitats. And these animals would supposedly have used various levels of limited motion animatronic puppetry and sensor-based technology to bring them to life with some interactivity. But all of that would have just been complementary to the main draw of the entire experience, which was said to have been a true-to-scale, life-size animatronic banshee. And this creature that the Na'vi call an IKRAN would be sitting atop a nest, similar in a way to the dragon under Sleeping Beauty Castle in Disneyland Paris, that is still incredibly effective despite being over 30 years old. Now obviously, as a result of the pandemic and the subsequent fiscal restraints that Disney put into place, these early conceptual plans were well and truly taken off the table entirely. Or so we thought. As you see, as part of the promotional campaign for Avatar: The Way of Water, Disney and Lightstorm Entertainment, in partnership with Victory Hill Exhibitions, has created Avatar: The Experience at the Gardens by the Bay in Singapore. And as part of this interactive exhibit, yep, that's right, it features a life-size, true-to-scale animatronic IKRAN, which sits atop a nest. And although the lighting of the environment isn't doing it any favours, it is still a very impressive animatronic figure. But here's where it gets even more interesting, as Victory Hill Exhibitions is the same company that created the Marvel Avengers Station exhibition from Vegas, and more notably for Disney fans, was also partly featured in Disneyland. As from 2013 to 2016, there was the Hall of Armour on the second floor of Innoventions, with the exact same Iron Man suits on display in an identical setup. And so, considering the company's connection to the parks previously, I want to present a hypothesis that this animatronic IKRAN could possibly come to Animal Kingdom, as after all, the exhibit in Singapore is only operating from October 28th, 2022 to March 31st, 2023, therefore leaving a very elaborately themed and impressive animatronic figure free to be used elsewhere. But if this was to be brought to Pandora the World of Avatar, then I imagine it could be used in some form of promotional exhibit to build hype for the next 3 Avatar movies, a little bit like what Star Wars Launch Bay was designed to do for the Star Wars sequel trilogy from 2015 to 2019. However, unlike Launch Bay, which was a conversion of an existing building, Pandora doesn't have such a space. So this would require some sort of temporary structure, and the 2 locations which I think are the most feasible for this type of integration would be either over here on the left hand side of the land as you walk in, as there's some vacant space there, or another suggestion which I think would work better would be to expand the back of the gift shop at the exit of Flight of Passage, which would make logical sense as that is where the puppet-like IKRAN Banshee toys are already being sold, and it would also give more people a reason to go visit this shop as well, besides from when they exit Flight of Passage. But of course, all of this today is just food for thought, and will hopefully have piqued your interest at the prospect of what could realistically be added to Pandora the World of Avatar as a result of the continued success of the movie franchise. But now I want to thank the sponsor of today's video, and that's Skillshare. As you may know Skillshare for classes in photography, film and video editing, and illustration, but Skillshare also has hundreds of career-focused classes too. And the new year is a perfect time to reinvent your goals and yourself. And look, I know that thinking about the future can be overwhelming and you don't know where to begin. So instead, take the pressure off by starting small, with Skillshare teachers taking you step by step along the way. As whether you want to start your own YouTube channel one day like me, or just looking for a career change, there will be a class for you. As for an example, DIY video production for content creators from setting up to editing by Enrico Luzzi is a great place to start to understand the somewhat daunting world of video creation. But then, from there, take your skills to the next level by learning about video storytelling on YouTube and beyond with Lily Singh, and how to build an authentic channel with Sorel Amor. And personally, I've learnt a lot from one of my favourite YouTubers, MKBHD, who has a class on how to script, shoot and edit videos, which I highly recommend. And so to get started on Skillshare today, the first 1,000 people to use the link in the description box below will get a 1-month free trial of Skillshare. But now it's over to you, Walt and Iz. I would like to know, what would you like to see come to Pandora, the world of Avatar, in the coming years, as a direct result of the success of Avatar: The Way of Water and the rest of the franchise. And if you've enjoyed this video for today, then be sure to give this video a massive thumbs up, share this video with a friend, and check out the rest of the videos on this channel. And with all of that being said, I've been Jack, you've been you, and I'll see you real soon.